Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Intuitive Idiots. Andre, how are you?
All right. I just got done with my own video today. So I'm very accomplished right now.
You got done with your what?
My video. I completed my
video.
own video today.
I heard opium.
We don't need to
I
go
my
into
opium today.
We don't need to talk about that.
You're like, that would be your drug of choice, I feel like, if you did drugs.
I have never done it, but I bet I would.
You'd like smoke it out of a pipe.
I would. An old-timey one.
So I wrote a Substack about something that I went through that was not at all traumatic at all, but I remember it. Well, I think it is a little bit traumatic because everything I was 3 years old, so everything's a little bit traumatic. Even remember going to school was traumatic, and it was the first day being taken away from my mom. But so in preschool, at the end of the day, we would sit in a circle, and you wait for the parents to come in. The parents arrive at the door, and then they go around the circle, get their kid, and go.
Oh, okay.
And I noticed it was almost painful for me to sit there, and I would stare at the door and wait for my mom to get there. And it was like the anticipation just was like, oh, like what? Like, make it go faster.
Anticipation.
And then one day, I had this classmate of mine who, he was covering his face, like with his hands, just like this. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I'm hiding from my mom. He puts his hands in front of his face. I'm like, but I could still see you. It's like, your mom's still going to see you. And he was like, whatever. And just kept doing it. So I'm like, well, all right, I'll give it a shot. So I put my hands in front of my face. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of neat. I can't see anything. I don't have this, like, I didn't realize it then, but I was like, I don't have that pain of the anticipation, right? Because it was just me in my own little world. But then I started worrying about, I was like, well, does this mean my mom won't come at all? A chicken and the egg kind of thing, you know, like if I don't go to sleep, will the morning come? Kind of things.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, let's just see. We'll just give it a try for today, and we'll see what happens. So I just kept my hand like glued to my face to see if my mom came. And sure enough, I got a tap on the shoulder. My mom not only came, but recognized me behind my fingers, lo and behold. And went on my merry way. Never did that again. So I want your take on it, Andre.
Okay. Well, as I was sitting there listening to that, I said, okay, this begins with a nervousness. Because this is at the end of your day, right? You know, you did your school thing. And then after you did your school thing, you know, this is when school's up. So I don't really know what happened before that, but you're anticipating. When you were anticipating and you were feeling like, oh man, here we go, you understood that your mother was coming, yeah? You knew what was going on.
Yep.
Okay.
Would you say all the parents came there at the end of the day?
Okay. Would you say that was a negative or a positive anticipation? Like, God, I can't wait to get negative. Okay.
Yeah.
Negative because?
Is you have to wait.
Just waiting?
Okay. Yeah, like it's you know, if you're waiting for pizza or something, you're waiting for something like food delivery, and you kind of distract yourself. So otherwise, you're just going to stare at the door or stare at the driveway.
Okay. Because in that waiting, and you chose to, you see this other kid do that thing, and did you instantly recognize, like, that's not like how you said it as an adult? Was that how you felt as a kid? Like, that's not going to do anything, dude. Like, they'll still see you.
Yeah. Well, that was my first instinct, but he was so convinced and so steadfast in his approach that I'm like, well, yeah, give it a shot.
So you followed him just because of curiosity?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's really hard to put like really like fine-tuned emotions on a child and stuff. I know,
Yeah.
but
This kid in particular, he must have had some messed up stuff going on at home. I could write a lot about him.
oh man,
Um, but
oh wow, that's another depth.
he would string me along to do some hilarious. Looking back now, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Stuff like, okay, so there were 2 rooms in my preschool, and one of them had a sand table. And so we went to the sand or rice table. It was a rice table, right? It's just this dried rice, and you had little toys in there, and you play with them and shit.
Okay.
And so we're over there playing on the rice table, and want to see something cool? And this girl, little girl minding her business, and we had this ring toss game over there. So he picks up 2 rings from the ring toss and puts them on his face. He goes, blah, to this little girl. And she gets all freaked out. So I go and put the rings on my face and do the same thing. And as soon as the teacher comes over into that room, he's like, hey, just be cool. And he starts throwing the rings like we're playing the ring toss. The teacher's like, what is it, Samantha? They're just playing the ring toss.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as she left, he started doing it again.
Wow.
So stuff like that. But regardless, it was one of the, he was kind of, he was like a ringleader kind of kid.
Okay.
You know? He would get other kids to misbehave, and
the most damaged kids will end up doing
like
that.
Peer pressure. So a combination of peer pressure and curiosity. I'd say.
Oh, I used to do that all the time. I was that guy, and I'm gonna sound like a piece of shit, but here we go. When I was a kid, I would get other kids to do some messed up stuff. Get them to take their clothes off and run around. Tell them to beat other people up. Get them to say messed up things, and then every time I'd end up be like, "Why'd you do that?" And they'd be like, "Because you told me to." And I'd be like, interesting. And so I just kept doing shit like that just to see how far people would go. If I'm like, hey, go do that. Yeah. Go punch that kid and see what happens. And then they would do it, and I'd be like, why'd you do that, dumb fuck? Did you think that was going to just be okay? Like, yeah, but you said to do it. Like, so? I used to be that kid a lot. I'd get people to do things, and I'm not really happy about it, but because I've done some pretty messed up things. But
well, you were a kid, man.
Yeah.
You're testing the limits of reality.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what drew me to try this out.
Yes. So that's
what will actually happen.
That is actually great. Let me write that down so I don't forget. Limits of reality. Perfect. Because my next question was going to be, when you said that you did what he did and you covered your eyes and you said, oh, now I'm kind of in my own little world. Things are invisible from me. I decided to experiment by covering my face until either my mother arrived or I was the only one left. Looking back now, I'm impressed by the self-discipline my 3-year-old self exhibited, sitting in the dark while my peers received their parental return dopamine hit. During those few short minutes, as far as I knew, I was invisible. I was nowhere, beholden to no one, without rules or an identity. I was authentic. It felt like freedom, and I loved it. And then, subsequently, the illusion was shattered, and your mother was there, and you just went on with your life. That little small moment at the time is just kind of like, cool. Anyway, I'm going to go play at home now, blah, blah, blah. But as an adult looking back on it, that to me is very, very interesting. We're talking about a limit of reality, identity, and meaning. As human beings, this is why I'm so keen on this topic right now. What am I doing while I'm at my house? I'm breaking myself of the reality outside in the world with all the things going on and my job and my duties and all that. And I'm here right now enjoying my life, whatever that happens to be, for writing, reading, hanging out with my cats, my wife.
Arithmetic.
I've created my own little world. But sometimes we have to shatter that and go out. And I think it was the second episode where we were talking about the chair of Osiris. And this ties heavily back into going back out into this and committing to this world. So as an adult now, you've lived your life beyond that for many years. What can you kind of glean about being in your own world for a time like that and escaping?
I can relate it more to what I'm doing now. It's been the past few months. And I run into this conflict. This little voice is like, you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
But what about this? And then half the time I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
And it goes away. And the other half, I'm like, damn, you're right. I need to start making money, and like, and I need to go do this, and maybe I'll get a career in that, and dump this girlfriend, and you get like a younger, hotter girlfriend, and have a bunch of kids, and just the ego just starts taking over.
Does that feel inside or outside? Like
Mm-hmm.
those thoughts, does that feel like it's internal or external?
It feels more external
I thought so. Okay.
than other things, but it's also internal, partially internal. I guess every thought is somewhat internal.
Right, of
That's how we
course.
get fooled about things, and we're like, yeah, I mean, even like a love for a sports team, but that's external.
Mm-hmm.
It had nothing to do with you, but it'll feel like, yeah, like you have a natural reaction when, like I do too, when the Islanders score a goal, I'm like, yeah, just naturally. Usually, not usually, fuck yeah, like there's more bass in it than that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
or if you want to go into 0-degree weather, fight federal law enforcement, you might think that that's, in your heart, but it's probably got nothing to do with you.
Yeah. You can see it a lot in aspects of life.
The same if you get angry at the protest. You want to go fight them, and you're a few states away or something, probably has nothing to do with you.
All right. It's like, what are you actually doing in there? But sometimes I would wonder. So I know how what you're talking about there, because I deal with it too, right? I actually dealt with it yesterday, but I found a way through it the way I always do. But I did sense this, like, I need to X, Y, and Z. Like, like, come on, it's your day off. You got to get shit done. And for me, a lot of it is a self-pressure. It's not necessarily like you need to go out and do externals. It's always like, why aren't you working on your stuff? Why aren't you making a video today? Why aren't you blah, blah, blah? And I felt really down about that. And I sat there with that, and I was like, I feel useless. Like, I know I can do these, but there's also a logical part of my mind that's like, yep, dude, but you're exhausted. You can't keep pushing yourself. You're going to fall again. So there's that part too. And I remember I just went and took a nap. I was like, I'm going to take a little nap. I'm exhausted. Work was rough. There's a lot of snow out here. Everyone panicked. So we just did a lot of sales, and I'm just exhausted physically. And so I did, and I woke up from my nap, and I made this video about it today. I grabbed this book that I've been really into lately by Roberto Calasso. It's called The Marriage of Cadmus and Harmony. And it's just Greek myths interpreted by this author, and it's amazing. It's a very good book. I highly recommend it if you want to know about Greek myth. So I got to this part that triggered the video that I made today, and then it clicked. I was like, oh, okay. One of those moments. How I always get out of that, like, guilt and that, like, oh, I should do this, I should do that, I should do X, Y, and Z, is it's always answered for me externally, but bolstered internally. I chose not to push or force, and I said, I'm going to let life happen. I read a passage, and I found a way to connect my mythology with ancient mythology. And it made it just so much more easier for me to digest, so I can explain my story more. And the moral of this is, yes, I felt those ways. I felt very pressured. I felt like I had to do these things. But I said, it'll take care of itself. But I need to be ready when it does come. I have to do the work. It's like waiting for the train to arrive to take me to the destination. But I have to at least get on the fucking train. I can't just watch it come and then go and be like, oh, damn it. I thought it would do it for me. Like, no, you have to jump on. So that's one way that I navigate that and try to trust in it. Like, someone that's religious say trust in God's divine hand, or, his handiwork. He works in mysterious ways. Basically that. Just trust that you're going to figure it out. You can't force it though. But there's another aspect of what you said that to me broadens this. And some of those things you chose to say that you carry seem external in a sense of culture and identity. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to be making money. You're supposed to have this kind of woman in your life. You're supposed to, and it's cultural, external. And so that's where I'm like, okay, so that's something a little different. That's kind of like the whisper, I call it in my mythology. It's going in there and it's finding those little things that you've either learned from your culture or you personally have as your own kind of complexes, and it's poking at them and telling you like, hey, you're not doing this lately, you're not doing that. So that's another aspect. And I guess a modern religious person would call that the devil, right? He's going in and trying to tempt you with, you should go to a strip club, you should go do a fucking go do this job, and even though you're not going to step on people, who gives a shit? And it's forcing you to do these darker things. That, to me, that's the difference of the internal and the external. But I'd like to hear what you think about that.
So I've been reading this book. I get to show a book too, Andre.
Book club.
Yeah. It's called The Power of Identity by Manuel Castel.
Bring it up for a little more this way.
The Power of Identity by Manuel Castel.
In the middle of the screen.
Am I good?
Right in the middle.
To do this?
Just so we can freeze frame. Yeah, it looks good. Because
Okay.
I'm going to have to remember that.
Yeah. Like I was explaining to you, I found this in the school library I was working at. And
okay.
This dude wrote 3 of these in the 90s and then updated them like in 2004. He really analyzes. He does his homework. But so he starts off first chapter. He says, identity is people's source of meaning and experience.
Mm-hmm.
So right away, I'm like, all right. I'm not going to agree with everything in here, but that's, I'd rather read stuff that I don't agree with. And he quotes this guy, Calhoun, from 1994. I don't know.
Calhoun.
Yeah. So he says, self-knowledge, always a construction, no matter how much it feels like a discovery, is never altogether separable from claims to be known in specific ways by others. So right off the bat, he's saying there is no like inner work, self-discovery. Everything about identity is almost like an external creation.
Of our own doing? Or how we're defined. I didn't catch that last part quite right.
So like it's a construction.
Identity
your identity or your self-knowledge, the construction. Like nobody is truly original.
Okay.
Everything's external.
Taken from all these other people that we smash together and make into ourselves.
Yeah, or like cultures and
or culture. Yeah, like all these things that are outside of us, we take it all, put it in one room, smash together, and say, "Me."
Yeah,
is what he's claiming.
Now, I'd agree with that as far as like identity. And most people, yeah. But the problem is, he says it's people's source of meaning and experience. I think it's the other way around. So that's where I take issue with it.
This is refreshing.
Again, chicken and the egg. Meaning and identity do work together, but meaning is primary. So his hypothesis is, who constructs collective identity largely determines the symbolic center of identity and its meaning for those identifying with it or placing themselves outside of it. So you construct your identity, essentially, right, from external factors. And you've got 3 types. There's legitimizing identity, and that's just you follow the rules. You know, you first learn about parameters in life, consequences, and that's like your first uh, mask that you wear, I guess, right? That's what I feel like I was able to ditch when I covered my face, right?
Mm.
I didn't have to worry about, am I breaking any rules? I can't see anything, so there's no one to punish me if I am. Then number 2 is resistance identity, where arises out of a sense of alienation against unfair exclusion. So something's not fair. You realize that something's not fair. You say, wait a minute, that's not fair. And you have this identity of the person whose something is being unfair. Somebody's being unfair to you, or some system's being unfair to you.
Negative.
And usually others, right? And then we have project identity. It goes a step further than the second one, where you take that whatever's like unfair, and you create a story around it. Right? So, and not just that, but like the experience is framed in a certain light, and then you create this story. Some people will call it a narrative.
Right. Interesting. That's where victims
it's a prolonged communal resistance.
I would call that the victim or hero complex situation.
Yeah.
I'll
stop with that there. So I think there's a fourth one too, like a post-project identity, and that's where you find like the shaman, you find the monk, you find the dude who goes off into the woods. Like no kid's ever going to do that, right?
Yeah.
You're worried about how am I going to live, how am I going to eat, how am I going to sleep, like you're just like off living on your own somewhere. Where it's like you're past all that.
Yeah, you're breaking away from the conventions of your culture, tribe, and community.
Yeah.
Which is
so.
Yes. Yeah.
We get back to the original question, which comes from which? Meaning or identity?
Self or external.
But if I could strip away my identity by doing this as a 3-year-old, how strong really is identity?
Yeah, it's almost as if it's a narrative, even if it's okay. Let's just give him the benefit of the doubt and say that it is all externally created. Well, what we're basically saying is you could choose to believe it or not. That easily.
He's saying that meaning and purpose as well are externally created.
Mm-hmm. I agree in a sense. It's all based upon the culture and the people around you, and you get to pick and choose how you identify yourself and whether you're with the game or not. And you can say, well, I choose to see myself X, Y, and Z way, but no one else will. And I can say I choose to see myself a certain way, but you might be like, but man, you're not that. Whatever happens to be. Like pretend I want to identify as a woman. You could say to me, but you're not. I'm like, well, that's how I identify myself as, right? So in some ways it can be, I don't want to say wacky, but it can be non-conventional, right? But it's purely how we see ourselves. I think, where does the power lie? If I choose an identity of how I want to personally be seen in this world, that doesn't really, it can't be bolstered by outside forces, and I can't make it so true. I can keep telling you it's true that I'm this thing, but eventually you will believe it, but does that make it real? And so I guess the power lies in how, you could say, like the consciousness.
It depends on where it's coming from. The meaning of that is the meaning of that because it's something external or something internal.
Right.
So is that coming from like the archons? Is that coming from God? Is that coming from like your sacral chakra? Like, I mean, however you want to describe it.
Yeah.
Is it authentic? Is it true?
Is identity something that can be tangibly connected to a higher power or God or consciousness is kind of how you're saying that? Like how you're
No,
questioning that?
meaning, more meaning.
Meaning?
Like
Okay.
I, the police academy, the military. What do they do, right? In boot camp.
Break you down and make you into something new. Whatever
Yeah,
they need you to be.
they destroy your identity
Uh-huh.
and build a new identity.
That's why they cut your
right?
hair and all. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Conforming. Yeah.
right there.
Consciousness.
I mean, you see it everywhere.
It's in everything, isn't it?
Yeah, identity ends up becoming it's the projection of meaning, whether that meaning is legitimate or not.
So, identity and meaning, as we're, because I think we're on the same page here, we're both understanding it as something self-identified on a different level, not I've gathered in all the world around me. I am the amount of my culture, the village I live in, the people I go to work with, the websites that I view on the internet. I am all those things, and that is the thing making the decisions of who I am. I think that's a possibility that that's what is going on some level. But I know a lot of guys that are on both sides of the fence all the time. One minute they're this Republican this, and the next minute they're this Democrat that. And now they're a conservative, but they used to be a liberal. And so like they're taking their identity based on all these external things and making it themselves. Now you're a Christian. You weren't before, right? These kind of people. Now, I think you can do that. Identify yourself based on all these external things. It's up to you. But what you're kind of saying here is the same thing that I've been working on lately, that little I, is what lies beyond all of that when you strip all of this shit away. Who are you at the end of the day? Am I understanding this correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm on the same level as you. It's like, I think you can have your own identity and meaning based on the culture around you. You just conform into it. I think the problem is, but who are you when you're at home? That old saying.
Yeah.
Who are you when you're at home? You know, when you're not out there and all doing that shit, what do you do there? Is that your identity? Am I the guy sitting in this room right now, hanging out with my camera being really weird, low fucking resolution? I don't know. Or am I the guy that everyone perceives when I walk out of this room and I go to work or I go and do this and that? Like, who am I really?
Every time that there's like a disparity between those two beings, I feel like it's like karma, like that's how you build karma.
Mm-hmm.
Like inner conflict. Like the second that you're somebody else outside the house, it's almost like there's a little court stenographer. And I said that you're at home.
Yeah, yeah. You kind of conform yourself.
Like it gets read back to you in your dreams, and then
you would reinterpret that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like you didn't actually mean that.
Can I restart my page?
So then it's like you have to like constantly put up all these defense mechanisms, and it's like we were talking last week. You know, you do one little lie, and then you have to have another lie to cover that one up, another lie to cover that one up, and it's this giant house of cards. That's why you have people that are so angry because it's like they need to let that anger out because that time that they should have said something that wasn't right, but they, or it could be anything. The time that they said that they acted like they cared about something that they actually didn't,
mm-hmm.
And they had to, pretend that they had experiences that they didn't. I mean, let's call a spade. A lot of these people, they call it virtue signaling.
Mm.
They don't actually fucking care.
Right.
Do you think all these people in Minneapolis give a shit about immigrants? Fuck out of here. They don't fucking care. They don't care about the country. They don't care about if people are actually violent. It's like theater.
It is. It's like
they get to participate in.
You get to join in the idea, but not really understand what the idea was for. I'm watching a documentary about Vietnam, and it's these protesters are out there against the war in Vietnam. This is 1970, and they're like, we need to get out. And then riots were happening. The Chicago police kicked the ass of all these protesters and shit. Yeah. And then these strange anti-war groups come out of it, the weatherman and all that stuff. But at what point did you lose the plot? Are you going to these rallies saying you don't want war, but you've kind of forgotten the reason of what this is all about? Because you start to get the
Well,
perspective of the other side. For instance, in this scenario, all these Southern Vietnamese are like, but we need this help because we're going to lose this war and we don't want to lose our country. But all these protesters are at home just not wanting war. So they lost the plot a little bit.
you're feeding this identity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not even about the actual issues anymore.
No, yeah.
Like that's why you can't debate. If you ever tried to, when I was younger, I would try to have like political arguments with my friends online. Even if they were friends, like it just wouldn't work. And I'm like, why wouldn't it work?
Yeah.
Like I'm making valid points here, because you can't debate with someone who's believing their own lies, which the identities, and that's not just it's a one-sided thing, It's
Mm-hmm.
anything that if somebody bases their identity about things that are external to them, well, then it's a house of cards. It's not real. It's not going to survive. Talking to Strangers, Malcolm Gladwell is the author. He talks about the terrorists that they had at Guantanamo. One dude who was like supposedly, Lord, been in the South too long, supposedly
Sorry, I didn't even catch that.
responsible for all these heinous crimes and terrorist attacks. And they got him, and he wasn't saying a word. He was like, fuck you, They would like waterboard him, and he figured out how to breathe like through the waterboarding.
Yeah.
Like everything that they did, like he just could not get to him. And then finally, after like 8 years or something, they finally get him to crack, and he goes into a court with the translator and everything. And he claims like even more than they had pinned on him. He claims all this shit that he did, right? And it was heinous stuff. And he says, everything I did for the love of, I did for my God, Allah, and so on and so forth. And the guys that were interrogating him and investigating him, they were just happy that they finally got him to crack. But when they actually researched some of the stuff afterwards, like a lot of it didn't line up.
Mm-hmm.
So, piece of shit. But nevertheless, that's authentic.
You tell him what you want to hear?
You can torture him for 8 years and he's still gonna fucking,
Mm-hmm.
This is the book I was talking about.
Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah.
So it was
I just wanted to see the guy and exactly how long it was.
So you're kind of saying like he might have been messing with them, or did you think it was one of those cases of I'll tell you whatever you want, I'll claim to be anything as long as you stop torturing me?
Well, at first he wasn't even like that. He learned ways to like take the torture.
Okay.
But like physically not let it affect him as much, rather than just say what he needed to say to avoid the torture.
Oh, okay.
Let me just find out what his fucking name was.
Muhammad?
I'm sure. I'm sure that was one of them. So March 2003 is when they captured him. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. So yeah, you're right. That's one of the names.
Lucky guess.
2007? Okay, 2007. So 4 years.
Okay.
Never mind. Still.
That's still a long time to get tortured.
And even then he didn't really give them, he gave them like half true information. Now he could be thinking, well, I'm going to be locked up forever anyway. What does it even matter?
Yeah, like he's getting back.
You kind of almost have to put yourself there and like, what would I actually defend, like against torture and death? What, like really though?
Yeah.
And some people never grow up and they don't even know, like they don't understand the concept of even like hard times and physical, like people that have never been in a fight,
So I have a question then. Does your identity and the meaning of your life that you've based on through your identity and what you're supposed to be, Does that create reality?
I mean, it creates your perspective.
Hmm. But does it make reality? You know, they say like, oh, we all see it differently. So it's like, that could be a green chair as far as
Mhm.
I know. And to you, it's yellow. Or is it only so personal? Is reality something that we can just make our own, or is it an agreed upon thing that we all have to share? It's based on how you choose to see such a thing. As in, I'm looking at this from this angle, you're looking at it from that angle. To me, it looks like this, to you, it looks like that, but it's the same thing. So it doesn't matter whose perspective it is, it's still there. Does reality play a larger role in our identity and meaning more than we understand?
I think it plays less of a role
Less of a role?
than we understand. So as part of this, I did a little make-believe case study
Hmm.
and then fed it to ChatGPT. Two people, similar IQ, similar kids, ethnicity, living situation, et cetera. Right?
Hmm.
All those variables are controlled. They both see the same video. I use the example of a law enforcement officer pepper spraying a protester.
Okay.
And so right away, you have one of them, the protester's at fault. You know, the other one, um, the law enforcement officer's at fault. They both see the same video, and just right off the bat, one is automatically going to go one way, one's automatically going to go the other way. We have survival thinking in our brainstem, and when you see something on a screen or you believe something to be real, your threat detection goes off,
Hmm.
and it doesn't. There's no critical thinking when it comes to survival thinking, to threat detection. Identity takes over because it doesn't operate without arousal. Right? You don't have an identity unless there's something that's like what he talks about a lot in Castells here in his book, where you don't have an identity without like something to go with or against. When you read up on it, if they do soften their stance or rarely go the other direction, it's because of something like political pressure or peer pressure.
Yeah.
Usually, it's just any research after that is done to protect the original reaction that they have, the original emotional reaction. Because when you had this house of cards built up,
Yeah.
if that reaction was wrong, then oh shit,
Yeah.
everything was wrong,
Okay.
and I have to start all over again.
I see what
And
you're
that's when you
saying.
get
Yeah.
angry, very defensive over these things.
Sunken cost fallacy almost.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
right.
It's like you identify yourself with, you see some external thing and you have to run it back down to your program, that your software that you've installed. I've installed the software. It's who I am. That's me as a human being. You see this event that's external, you got to run it back and see how it filters through your system. And you're like, okay, how are you supposed to feel about this? Well, you're this, you're this, you're that. You should probably say this, and that thing. And a lot of people just say, that's my identity. I'm this, I'm that. But in reality, what we're claiming here is like, well, what's below that surface? What's below that, as we're using this term house of cards? And that is the little I. That's the real you. And a lot of times when you bury that for so long, or you commit a life that's not real, or you go down this road and you've lost who you really are, that's where that kind of self fucking sabotage happens. And all of a sudden you have your midlife crisis and you're like, I thought I was this and that and the other thing. Because you denied the real self in you, the thing that when you covered your face and you were in, as you described, your own limits of reality, your own limits of reality, your own world, there was a sense of relief. This is just me. I don't have to be all this stuff out here. And for that little moment, it was just you. And I think it felt good as a kid, and we've been chasing that ever since as human beings. We all have. I can't name off the top of my head what mine was, but I've had that exact same moment.
I don't know that we chase that
You don't
very
think we
well.
chased that? I've been chasing
I
it.
don't. Well, I think you can try to get back to that. But it's like people spend their entire lives covering up that ever existed.
Right.
run away from it.
I guess so. Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah, I
got your
suppose so.
job. Now I want a promotion. Now I want one car. Now I don't want another car. Now I got
Yeah.
my wife. Now I want a hotter wife.
Being in the
Now I want,
world, yeah.
you know, it's like all these, you have to keep, it's not sustainable because you have to keep on going. Otherwise, you'll be going back towards the thing that you
But would you
sold out as a kid.
but would you say that those things are all external things that you think you're
Yeah.
supposed to be? Right. So you're chasing the external world, the thing that you're supposed to be, and you're leaving behind that thing that you really are, this identity, this meaning that you're supposed to have, whatever that
Well,
identity.
the meaning, it's not an identity.
Say what now?
It's not an identity.
It's not an identity.
No. It's just a source of true meaning.
So
The
what
little
is
I. We're talking about the little I.
identity? Identity is a set of qualities, beliefs, personal traits, appearances, or expressions that characterize a person or group. Emerges from during childhood as children start to comprehend their self-concepts. Sameness, oneness, state of being the same. Because I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, to me, identity sounds like something that you're supposed to have in this world. Like identity is, okay, if you're going to be a part of this world, you got to have your own little identity, your own little gamer tag, and stuff, let us know who you are. Sounds like identity because it says state of being the same, oneness, sameness. Okay, well, that's
Did you see
consciousness.
Office Space?
A long time ago, yeah.
Jennifer Aniston, she works at this restaurant. The manager there, he's talking about how she didn't have enough piece of flair on her vest.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh, you don't have enough piece of flair.
Huh.
Hmm.
Interesting, yeah.
It's the same kind of, it's the same concept. It's the same.
So identity can, not, I don't want to use this word, but I can't think of anything else, so whatever. It's almost like a derogatory idea of that's how you should identify yourself. Identify. That is you, but in doing that, what that's doing is it's making you a character in this play, in this game. It's not even a real thing. It's just like in a video game, like you play video games. What's your name? What's your character's name? What's this? What's that?
It's your gamer tag.
Gamer tag, right? Your online gaming stuff. So it almost feels like that where you're right. We should get away from that word a little bit more. You're right.
Yeah, because
I didn't
you're
think
not
of
the
that.
character.
I did not think about that till just now. Okay. Huh. Wow. As my screen starts to go, uh-oh.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know about this.
We're over the target. So what does this actually mean? Like as far as our daily lives?
What's this mean? Yeah. That identity is just a concept that you can agree to. There's no right or wrong necessarily to it. It's just part of the system, the game, the program, the software, whatever word you want to use. It's part of this thing here. And when you experience that moment as a kid where you covered your face and it was almost everything was wiped away, it's like when I was a kid. I used to do this a lot and I still do it today. And I'm sure everybody does this. You know, when you lay there, you close your eyes and maybe you push your eyes a little bit and you start seeing crazy colors and all that stuff. I used to do that all the time as a kid and I thought I was actually flying in this realm. I could see buildings appearing, I could fly through them and then they'd shape into these things and I would just go and like in the Death Star and go down into the trench and I did all these things and I thought that was as real as when I opened my eyes and I saw my dad watching the Red Wings playing. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, what is real and what isn't real isn't the question here. It's about what the meaning is. And I think that's been how you say, like, the road that I've been on all along. And that's the meaning between what is real and what isn't real and the imaginary and the real and in our waking world. And to me, the meaning is like, it's all true. It all has purpose.
What if some of it's going to lead you down the wrong path? Because you only have so much time in the day.
Well, if it leads you down the wrong path, then you can get back out again. And sometimes that is a big worry.
What if it takes 20 years?
Then it takes 20 years. I've went down the wrong path for a long time. We've all done it. You know, we've all had that moment where it's like...
Well, then why bother to do anything right? Screw it. I'm going to go outside, wear my underwear on my head, and take a dump on the name's lawn. You know? Because, well, you know, that would be funny. and I like funny things. That's meaning to me.
I mean, I don't know. I think it all has to do with, because I remembered.
There he is.
I think it has a lot to do with, how do I word this? I don't want to say perseverance or willpower, because I don't know the right word. But I think
So
you can go down that road and get lost for a while and get right back off, or you could just not do it at all together. I don't know if there's a right or wrong way to do it. I don't know if like me doing this little eye work makes me more right than someone saying, fuck it, I'll just be my job and I will identify as the CEO of Ford. I don't know what's right or wrong. It just feels right when you're doing it. My own, and this is the word, meaning is I have to.
So after I was done with this, when I thought I was done with this, I went and took a shower. Calendar's game's about to come on. And so I get out of the shower and I go to my underwear drawer. I pick up the first pair of boxes that I see. And I'm like, oh, not these. And I go to the next one, oh, not these. And I said, I'm doing it right now. It's meaningless, right? But it's external meaning. I was like, I ended up the third one, they're a bit more comfortable, but not really enough to where like I even notice it.
Yeah.
Ever.
Right.
And then and what also went through my mind is I look better in these. I'm not going anywhere where someone would even see me in my underwear.
Yeah, why do it though?
The only person who would is the same person that I've been seeing for 4 years, if she's even going to see me in my underwear that night.
Yeah.
And like she would even care.
Right.
So I was like, oh, okay. So if you really look at each situation, there's going to be a point where you have 2 or 3 kind of different decisions, right? And if you examine it from, does this actually matter?
Mm-hmm.
You'll start to realize little things like, oh, that doesn't actually, that was like this extra little brain power that I was using for something that was completely external, that was part of this identity that doesn't exist.
Right.
So I think ultimately what this means at the end of the day is discernment is like the most important thing you can work on for yourself.
Yeah.
Like you can choose to notice the things that matter to you and to cut through the noise of everything, because there's so much noise now too with information and that kind of that'll counter the guilt that we talked about in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's all from that same little dance around whether it's underwear or what you said during an argument. And that ultimately leads to true self-discovery.
Mm-hmm. It's been something that I've been really, really focusing on, and because of that dream, that vision of, go beyond it all, beyond your memory, your relatives, your ancestors, go beyond your traumas, go beyond everything, how you identify yourself. I just remember it was like a mantra, and as it was saying it, I was going backwards in time. It was crazy. Every time I kept going back, it's like, go beyond this, go beyond the people you care about, go beyond the things you did today, go beyond your writing, go beyond all this. And it came to this point, like you get to the little I, and that's where the truth will lie. And I thought, like, it's in lieu of this conversation. It's you strip away all this stuff. I always use the term Descartes, where he's talking about, I think, therefore I am. Descartes, however you say it. And I always go back to that one as an example, and it's just the same. It's like, strip it all away. It doesn't mean you throw it away and like, oh, it's gone forever, I'll never be that again. Like, you can bring it back if you need that.
Well, you can't throw it away.
That's what I mean. You can't. So like because it sounds scary if I say strip it all away.
You can't throw away an illusion.
Right. Well, that's what I'm trying to say.
You can't throw away nothing.
Exactly. That's the point, because I'm like, if I say this too straight, I think people get afraid of it. Like, you throw it all away. Like, well, you know what I mean? Like, throw it away, not as in a garbage, but like, it's over there, off of me. Just get the shit off and see what's underneath you. And when you get to that point, that's when it truly, you begin to see that that's what those were the whole time. You could use any analogy you want. Software that you're running in your computer. It's things that are sticking to you like fucking a spider web, you know? Any illusion you want to use, but that's essentially what it is. And once you do that, and I'm not claiming that I'm sitting here Mr. High and Mighty because I've done it already. I'm in the process of doing it. Not very good, but I'm
We all
doing
are.
it. And I think what you gain is you just see these things. Do you know what I'm saying? You can identify that. And sometimes that's just half the battle. Just knowing that
Yeah.
sometimes things are just external and you can choose to play or not. You can participate. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with participating.
No.
Going out and voting for, you know, the new guy to take care of the waste management in your local city. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
City,
It's such a good
city
thing.
comptroller.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes the game's a
What
little
the fuck
rigged
is a
and
comptroller?
I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? It's like you pick
Yeah.
and choose the world that you live in. And when you cover your eyes sometimes, it's a good way to just get away and remind yourself who you really are at the end of the day.
So you can pick and choose what world you live in, but
In a sense, but not fully.
you have to get there where you actually know what you're doing.
Navigate it.
Most people don't pick or choose anything, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just this boiling anger that comes from things that they see on their phone, or arousal that comes from things. Arousal
Triggers.
in the, you know, not the sexual sense. It can
I
be a
know.
sexual sense too.
There's depths.
From stimuli, and it's just kind of like stimuli, reaction that's been conditioned.
Yep.
Stimuli, reaction that's been conditioned. Go to sleep. You just repeat the process.
Mm-hmm.
But so, what I would suggest for you and for anybody is
To like and subscribe.
whatever you have to do, right? There's going to be several ways to go coming to your mind, right? Like you're like with the picking of the underwear. Um, you could be picking any kind of clothes. It could be picking what to eat. It could be picking when to eat. But whenever that choice point comes up, try to recognize which choice is like the authentic one, which one is true to your intuition, and which ones are just identity detects not even a threat, but an opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's kind of what I did today. Yeah. You just pick. You let it come to you. Is the only like words I can put on it. Makes sense at least to me. Is just let it come to you, and then it feels more natural because you're more in control instead of forcing shit.
I was getting tutored for math, and I couldn't get the answers right, and I couldn't. It wouldn't even like I couldn't wrap my brain around what the hell I was even doing.
Mm-hmm.
This is back in high school, and the SATs were coming up. And I don't know if he was retired at the time, but passed away a few years ago. Mr. Skadberg, rest in peace, Mr. Skadberg. He always smelled like talcum powder.
Mm.
So he was tutoring me for math, and I couldn't focus. And he's like, you know, what are you doing? Like, come on, Michael, you always say you're a bright boy. Like, you know how to do this. Like, why did you, you know, get this wrong? I thought about like, what else am I like? What is clogging the highways up here? Friends and sports and girls and music and whatever. I pictured it, rising above my head and then spinning faster and faster and faster till it just flew away. And once it flew away, I looked at the next math problem, and I was able to do it.
Get rid of the distractions.
Yeah, and it's like all that was just this identity shit that was fake anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so ever since then, I've used that to get to sleep, to focus on things. All that shit doesn't. It comes back. Like
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't
Yeah.
just. I've sometimes when I'm real frustrated, I'll
Builds up.
see it flying into the freaking sun.
Right. Yeah.
And guess what? It still comes back.
It does.
So you don't have to. Again, it's like you can't throw it away because
Maybe I'll use the word
it's
throw
not
it
really
off.
there.
Throw it off. Take it off.
And it's just all this fake shit you've constructed to make a little story for yourself.
Yeah, the enemies will always respawn at the new moon. They'll come back. Yeah, and you have to, it's a constant thing, you know, like you're saying, it's not like I did it once and I'm forever just chill. It's just,
It's almost
yeah,
like playing a video game and you're like, well, maybe I'll take a break. And then part of you is like, well, no, but then like,
yeah,
you'll lose all your progress. Like,
not nowadays.
I'll just save it, you know?
Yeah, I'll
Now we,
save it. Yeah.
I wrote down the password. It's X72357 zero, or is that an O? Is it a zero or an O? I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Um,
Yeah.
you remember the passwords?
Yeah.
In our basement, we had just tons of like sticky notes or just passwords,
Oh yeah,
passwords,
cheat codes for me.
or that, yeah, Game Genie.
Oh my God, before those days when you had to learn from people. Whew. Life is a much like a video game, isn't it? At times. It's
Well,
almost it's almost as if we made it as such a way.
yeah, it's the same way
Subconsciously.
that computers act like people.
Mm-hmm. We only
Our
make what we
brains,
know.
right?
Yeah.
Because we made computers, we made AI, we made. And I say we, I mean like humanity,
Yeah, yeah, of course. Not me and you.
which is why humanity acts like its maker
Mm-hmm.
when we start making things.
Interesting, isn't it? Until you get lost. Then what's real and what's not? Or is that even a question?
Well, it's contextual. I mean, there's a time and a place for things. I saw that with a lot of kids too. They didn't know when to say certain things or do certain things. I would tell them, like, look, there's a time and a place for things. They didn't always listen, but what you gonna do?
Never. Not the way that it goes. You rebel, and then you learn, oh shit, I should have listened that whole time.
Yes and no. Because I rebelled, but there are plenty of things that I had right as a kid. Like the hands thing. Man, that
Mm-hmm.
was the throne of Osiris.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I was, oh, I'm not participating right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to participate in this pain of anticipation.
Yeah. That's not something that you can really teach. That's just kind of, I mean, you can teach these things, but I think to truly pick it up, you have to just figure it out on your own. And that's the caveat to everyone's got to rebel a little bit to certain things. And some people don't. Some people just fall right in and figure stuff out. And look at me. Even though I grew up in the same neighborhood as all these people, I don't have a kid at 18 years old and I'm not into drugs and blah, blah, blah. Like you can kind of intuit stuff, but not everyone can. It's all about how you perceive your world around you. And some people just
And
are on the starting line a little bit better.
I'm just always afraid of like they call it like othering people.
Yeah.
It's and not because it's like some virtual signaling, like like, oh, but I'm a good person and I don't want. No, fuck that. Because that's bullshit identity, egoic nonsense too. But I'm a good person. What the fuck does that even mean? Huh?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I don't want to go the other way and be egoic and be like, well, I'm special
Yeah.
and
That,
I can see so much further than you because I'm special.
yeah.
But I know
Easy to
like
do.
there are like I can tell there's some people, where it's like this is like one of your first times doing this. When I was teaching, there's some kids that are just wise beyond their years.
Mm-hmm.
They know the game. They get the whole time and place for everything.
Yeah.
And I remember asking one of them in particular, I said, do you ever feel like you've done this all before? He said, yeah. I said, okay, that's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can't really hide those kind of feelings, man. You just feel it.
I hadn't even made it a year yet as a police officer. Like, this one guy was retiring. One of the guys that worked with him, he wasn't retiring yet. And I came into work and I was tired. And he looked at me and says, hey, cheer up, you get to be a police officer today. Like, I'm ready to retire now, like your boy over there. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell's wrong with this guy?
Yeah. And,
Who knows?
yeah. That's funny. That's, yeah. My goodness, dude. Sometimes it's, I worry about that kind of what you were saying earlier. I worry about that stuff from time to time. I never want to come across as, Mr. Know-it-all or Mr. I got this figured out, you guys, don't you worry. Or you can watch me stumble, but know that I am ahead of you. Like, there are times that I've worried about that. It's not an active worry like every fucking day. But sometimes when I listen to myself, because again, when you edit your videos, you gotta listen back. And sometimes I'm just listening to myself, I'm like, how do you know these things? How do you know this though? Like, or like, I worry that I might sound, because I might try to make a point and then I'm literally showing that I'm being the very thing I'm bitching about. And I'm like, okay, like, am I doing this on purpose or like, am I just a fucking idiot? And I think about that a lot when I'm in this process, not my walking around life, but yeah, it's very interesting to tiptoe through this kind of stuff and not be too, much of don't let yourself have too much of an ego about it, but at the same time, like, don't just like pass it off like, oh, I don't know anything, I'm a fucking retard. Like,
Yeah.
it's finding a balance in that, and that can be, especially when there's no roadmap or you don't have like a mentor around you or something that you use as a compass at the very least. It can feel a little bit bewildering. I'll just say it like that. But at the same time, when you know it. It can be difficult to try to put into words. And like this whole conversation about meaning and, an identity to its own degree. If someone sat down and like give me one day so I forget most of this, and then like I'm sat in a courtroom and like, well, you said this, this, and that. What did you mean by that? Then I'd be like, I don't know, I don't remember. So it's like, but so what does that really mean and all that? Is this a floating breeze thing, or is this intuitive knowledge you can just pull forth, but you're just not holding on to it?
So much of this is, you could call it gut feelings or intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Things that are really hard to put into words.
This is a quote that I heard from Joseph Campbell, and this makes sense to me. The best things cannot be told because they transcend thought. The second best are misunderstood because they are the thoughts that are supposed to refer to that which cannot be thought about. The third best are what we talk about. And that's very true. I was thinking about this. It's like, it's unexplainable. And the second best thing is us trying to explain the unexplainable. The third best thing is just what we talk about in that order. And that was the first thing that came to my mind when we were talking about this. I was like, yeah, that's really it. You can't. I heard Terrence McKenna talk about because he was really into the mushrooms and all that, and he said it's beyond words. It's the best thing you can do is talk about it, but that doesn't even scratch the surface of what it is. And it's like anything though. It doesn't even have to be psychedelics or transcendent. It could be me trying to explain my life to you. You can only grasp by what I'm saying.
That's why stories are so important.
Mm-hmm.
For mythologies.
Yes.
Because they tell it with words, but the story really isn't in the words.
No, it's not. That's beauty of storytelling.
I wonder what podcasts will be like in the future if we gain telepathy back.
Yeah.
Just be.
That probably
Right?
would be it. Yeah, that would probably be something. They're adapting that shit with AI technology working. I remember hearing about where they can like this guy was thinking of a song and it's very rudimentary, and the AI was able to somehow with the electron waves and all this shit hooked up to him, you could barely hear what the song was. Like it could
I
fade.
saw that. Yeah.
Oh my god! And you're like, well, if that's now, then 20 years from now, they'll be able to look at these videos, probably in some crazy way, and like hear what we're really thinking as we're talking, and gain insight. Sometimes I'm sitting at home. You ever feel like there's people watching you? You ever have that moment where, man, people are watching me right now? I wonder if that's really it. If like, because I'll play to that sometimes. Like I feel like someone's watching me, so I'll kind of play to it. I will say this and I will do that, and I actually act to that. And I'm like, because I think like, what if in the future they're able to somehow use my DNA and like recreate all my inner thoughts, some crazy, unfathomable shit. Well, I'm going to give them something to fucking watch then, you know? I'll have those weird thoughts. Mm-hmm.
Could be entities too. You had a
I
bunch of
know.
orbs flying around you again.
Yeah.
Today.
They're my best friends. They're my only friends. Yeah, we have an understanding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You do you, bro.
Yeah.
All right, well, until next time.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Peace out.
See ya. And let's just start here and see how far we can go. Oh.
You there?
Yeah. Hold on.
Thought you fixed it.
It did. Hold on.
Thought he fixed it.
I want to identify as a woman.
This is a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Good problem to have.
Can I restart my page real quick? See if that'll fix my camera.
No. I'm going in like 10 million different directions right now.
Before we start, can I restart my page
So
real
then
quick?
it's give you a rundown.
Okay.
I posted a Substack yesterday. So we could talk about that. It's a quick read too if you want me to send it to you.
Can I restart my page real quick? See if that'll fix my camera.
I've been reading this book, which I commandeered from. I found it. It was in the school media center, which used to be the library.
Can I restart
And
my page real quick?
Reads, and I think I was waiting for like a copy or something, and like, this looks interesting. Somebody had made notes in it and everything. And, okay. Clearly, they were using it for some sort of paper or project or something. This is interesting, and then that kind of spawned me off because.
Can I restart my page?
Starts the first chapter. Identity is people's source of meaning. So right there, I'm like, okay, I'm just doing the meaning crisis thing. So now I'm talking about this.
Can I restart my page?
And it flowed. I was like, what are the chances? So that got me into the handwritten shit where I was just plotting things out. And then Substack, because Substack was already a story that I had written before. Okay. So you might have read it. And I've been reading up on more Civil War stuff since. Okay.
Identity and meaning are the big themes. Can I restart my page real quick? See if that'll fix my camera.
And then
maybe later.
No.
What is a FOMO?
fear of missing out.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever seen one.
What's your favorite dessert? Any or outie belly button?
Any or outie dessert?
Hmm.
What's your favorite belly button?
And I'm back. And back. How's that feel, asshole? I think you're a fucking liar. I couldn't even hear that. Or maybe I did. Again, I don't know. I don't even know if anything's real. I don't know how the hell I got here. What's this? What's that? I lost almost 97% of my hair. Was that on purpose? No. Who's alive and who's dead and at the same time even matters. That's it. Why does it even matter? Why does that matter? Why do I give a fuck? What is giving a fuck? Why do I need to care? You ever wonder that sometimes? You ever wonder, like, why do I have to care about stuff? Do I even need to? I don't know. Am I even real? Or is it what you want it to be? You know? I don't know that. I don't know if anything's normal. When I sat down in this room, I had no idea what was going to happen. What are we going to talk about? Don't walk into a room with a script. They're everywhere, all over the page. There's no uniformity to that. Why are you like this? Why would you prepare for life? Just go. Figure it out. Have fun. Walk around. Open doors and then leave the room.
That's life.
Well, this isn't for me. All right, well, now I'm out of here.